It's just Kearns. I'm co-founder of Tucr. We're a financial technology company. So we basically work with different businesses, helping them to offer flexible payment options with their customers. And Wedding Wallet is actually a product of Tucr. So we launched that on Valentine's Day. So we power that product. Okay, so I'm going to basically talk to you about two tools really that we use for a company. So first of all, hands up here if anybody uses Slack. Okay, so we've got quite a few people, which is great. So we essentially, Slack for us is the heartbeat of our company. Okay, everything that happens with our product within our business runs through Slack. Okay, so essentially, you know, for people who don't know what Slack is, it's many different, I suppose, things, but essentially for us, it's a conversation tool. Think of your WhatsApp conversations on WhatsApp. We have different channels for each individual conversation here. So what I'm going to do, the best way for me to explain it is just to run through the different channels and what happens in each one, okay? So first of all, we've got the two products, as you can see, Tucr.io, the app itself, the main product. And we've got the second one on the list is the Wedding Wallet.ie, the second product. So in here, anything that happens with the product, there's a notification. So that goes to my phone on the Slack app and my colleagues' phones, and it's in here. So for example, what would happen? Someone would create a new account. We get a ping in here through a webhook that's connected. The webhook notifies this channel. And then obviously there's action that we have to take on that. So I'm going to have to approve the account if it's a business account. If it's a general user, it's okay, straightforward. Also too, you might have someone who will request payment or make payment, you know, and that all happens in here. And look, it's good to see it, but really more so, what I love about it, that's the little motivation kick every now and again. So you see someone signed up last week, you've had a demo with them, and you know, nothing's happened, and all of a sudden they've created their first contract, their first payment request. You know, straight away you're like, yes, that customer is starting to use our product. And then you wake up in the morning, you see there's a payment in there from the payment request that they sent. So you're like, well, you know, make money where we sleep, which is great. So also then we've got then like blue sky thinking. So again, like maybe I might wake up 2 o'clock in the morning with a crazy idea, and I'll put it into the blue sky thinking channel, and then we might review that maybe once every couple of months, see is there anything in there that we could actually do. So anyone in the team who has an idea, they can put it in there. And that works quite well. So we've got competitors as well. Bot is just something we're testing out. The competitors channel is pretty straightforward. If I come across something online, or my colleagues do, we just put it in there just to keep an eye on it, keep a track on it. It could be inspiration, it could be a direct competitor. Then we've got customer feedback. That's a really important channel for us. So if we have any feedback, if I'm talking to a customer and they have any feedback at all whatsoever, I'll put it in here. Okay, and we'll come back to that at any stage. So you can see on the page here, you know, I've got some customer feedback for Tucr, customer feedback for Wedding Wallet, and then every week at our development meetings, our product meetings, we'll sit down, we'll discuss the feedback. If it's something that's common that can be done, it's a common thread amongst customers, we'll put it into our Trello, we'll action item it, and then it will go into development. So that's what we use for that channel. Then the other, I suppose, important channels really there that we would use would be like the front end deploy. That kind of keeps on top of any code changes, any updates to the product. General updates, if there's company general updates, it will go into that channel. And marketing, sales, research, long-term change, troubleshooting. Yeah, that's the next most important channel, the last one there. So again, if someone has an issue, I have an issue, supported by a customer, it goes into our troubleshooting channel, and then we review it, make sure within 24 hours it has been action itemed and has been resolved. So that's essentially how we use Slack. There is conversations, you can have good conversations in there as well. What I'll move on to is the second tool. So as I mentioned, the Wedding Wallet is a product that we have, but when you land on the website, so we're targeting maybe wedding suppliers to use our software, okay? What we'll do is we'll just take a step back. Wedding Wallet is a product that helps couples budget, save, and pay for their wedding. Okay, but we also then provide tools for wedding businesses to manage their business. So like software for sending invoices, collecting payment online, managing leads, that sort of stuff. And because we know couples' budgets and because we know what your business charge, we can then match them together when couples are looking for them. So How we get new customers is obviously through cold calling, digital marketing, that sort of stuff. But when they land on the website, they'll have an option to click more information. That'll take them to a product that we have called Calendly. So Calendly is a handy tool because if any of you have been in a situation where, John, do you want to meet for coffee? Yeah, Justin, when suits you? Wednesday. Oh, Wednesday's work for me, let's do Thursday. Oh, Thursday at 2 o'clock. No, Thursday at 1 o'clock. This over and back, right? Calendly just avoids that situation, whereby I put in my availability, I send you the link, and you select which works for you, okay? Saves all that hassle. But also what we have then is we have obviously on this slide, click more info, it takes you to a page where you can book a demo, 30-minute demo, and you put in the date, the time that suits you, and then that shoots through to my calendar. So I go to the calendar here, and from the calendar then on there's a link to Zoom. And I know somebody else will be talking about Zoom in a few minutes, so I won't cross over there. But essentially, that's it. There are tools that we use, and yeah, thanks for listening. So who's up next, John?
Maeve, Carey, and I am Business Ops Manager in Distilled SEH. Distilled SEH looks after the well-known brands Daft, Adverts and DoneDeal. They've all been running for about 10 years or so, and they're growing all the time. We've got about 150 employees, and they're spread between our Dublin offices, Waterford here as well, we have a little hub, and also our Wexford office. We have 2 employees here abroad, and then we have guys and girls that are working from home remotely. Just before I kick into the tools that we find indispensable, there's one important thing to note, and that is you can have the best tool in the world, but if it's not implemented correctly, if it's not set up for the business needs, user needs, it's useless. I know myself as well that we step into using a tool gradually. We'll get a particular set of users, a particular team to test it out, really make sure the configuration and the setup is correct before we even think about rolling it out or as a viable option for our business. So patience, I think, is of essence. Make sure that you're not jumping too early into the tool. So, same thing, Slack, totally invaluable. You can see that I looked at our analytics, and yeah, we're sending, it's like 3.6K daily messages. We have so many automations built in, so many webhooks, so many alerts. Internal email is pretty much zilch. It's on the pulse, everything is sharing. We've got team channels, group channels, perfect purpose-specific channels. Slack also, they have a beautiful support team. They have a live chat team, super helpful, and they're constantly developing. So would give it a big thumbs up. Next one is target process. Now, we would have been using 3 separate Jira accounts for many years. And back, it was September 2017, we switched to target process. Again, a super supportful team, but above all, everything is in the one tool. With Jira, we found that we had to be choosing different plugins, what worked, what didn't. If we wanted a certain functionality, we'd have to go to the marketplace and we'd have to search for that particular plugin. With target process, not only do we have flexibility in graphing, reporting, burn down charts, everything is very, very flexible. So we have user setup, team setup. We have sprints, so we work on fortnightly or sprints. And we can, any type of data or statistics, we can visualize. As well, super helpful support team. They're on call whenever we need them. And they give with like 10 hours as like online support, and they'll show you demos. They'll actually do mock-ups. They will also, what's very flexible is you can actually embed your own JavaScript and tweak their UI as well. So it's not set in stone. You can bend it and mold it as you wish. Next one is Zoom. this is a biggie. So we don't have the one building. We're spread out all over the place. Regardless, with one touch, with the right setup, we can call a particular room in another country. We can call a particular person or group of people. We have it integrated into our calendar. And the setup is one room, an iPad controller, a TV, camera, and mic. Once the meeting is scheduled, pop over to the iPad, hit join, and everything is taken care of. There's no figuring out remote control, no figuring out how to power on the iPad. Everything is dealt with, and you've got the schedule showing up on the TV, so you know if there's a pending meeting or if the room is going to be free just for an ad hoc call. Our big thing, I suppose, we had individual Zoom accounts for users. Big thing was creating Zoom rooms, so each room had its own setup so that you could dial. You didn't need to know the particular participants in the room that you were dialing. You just dial the room and you're in. This one is super as well. All our teams, designers, product people, dev people, infrastructure, it was called real-time board before, it's called Miro now. And graphing, visualization, seating plans, journey mapping, it's all there. Just a personal one is just Google Tasks. I have it just on my laptop and also my mobile phone. I have it for my work and personal email address. It's handy and very, very easy to use. A simple to-do or reminder task list. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Maeve. Emily's up next. Just you mentioned there that you have the Southeast Tech Meetup. Emily, do you know, or sorry, Maeve, is there something about the Southeast Tech Meetup? When is that happening, or?
Well, is this? I don't know when the next one is. So I would say if you go online and I would say just follow us on the Meetup website. We don't have one that's scheduled. We're hoping that the next one will actually be online, so we'll be able to host it. We just need to play around with the setup of that, but hopefully it'll be online.
Cool, thanks a lot. Emily.
Hi everyone, Emily Ann from Canice Architects. I'm an architect and partner at Canice who are based in Kilkenny, and we're involved in producing high quality architecture. One of the biggest challenges we face as architects and designers is conveying our creative ideas to the clients. So helping them visualize our ideas. That's one of the biggest challenges we have from the minute they walk in through the door to when it's completed on site. So two of the key tools that are fundamental to our practice are SketchUp Pro and Photoshop. Just to raise a hands here, have anybody here used SketchUp Pro before? Got 1, 2, 3, and then Photoshop? Okay, so pretty familiar with Photoshop, not so much with SketchUp. So from our perspective, there's a number of ways that we can convey ideas, from physical massing of models, so that's models made of wood, card, copper wiring, whatever it may be, to illustrate scale massing of buildings in relation to the site. So that's a traditional way of doing it. Drawbacks are that effectively a client can't see the clarity of the building, they can't get a feeling of the atmosphere or sense of the spaces. Other options are palettes or mood boards where you can get an idea of the materials, be it beautiful fossilized limestone from Kilkenny or Corten steel. So we experiment with a lot of different materials, and often it's getting the client on board with those materials from early days. So we can go through sketch, like freehand sketching right from the start as well. Again, a lot of clients feel that they can't get a sense of the space or the clarity of what that interior view would be. So for the purpose of this, I was going to just take a specific element and take you through the process of how we would design that in SketchUp and then edit it then in Photoshop. So if we take the stairs, traditionally we would do it up in conventional architectural drawings in plan format, illustrating the stairs, and then also in section. So for us, quite simple drawings and easy to read, but for a client, quite cryptic. So we know we're going to use mild steel in this stair. So it's a folded mild steel stair with timber threads and walnut handrails. So this is the material itself. Again, the client is a little bit apprehensive at the start, using a quite industrial material. They're a bit apprehensive of what this will look in a residential setting. So we're trying to explain bring them through a workshop by these artisan craftspeople that it's beautiful lacquered, hot rolled mild steel. But how can we get them on board easier? We use SketchUp. So we modeled the whole actual stair itself. Now we went through numerous iterations, but this is the specific one we came down to in the end. So this is modeling the actual stair in isolation, so not in the building itself. And it's a very intuitive tool. Anyone can pick it up really easily. In a matter of a week, someone could get a really good grasp of it. So for us, that's critical. For employees, for us working in the office, it's really easy to prototype different designs, be it stairs, be it a building. And then this gives them a clear idea of it's folded mild steel, there's timber threads, there's timber handrail. But again, this is in isolation. We want to show what it's going to look like in the space. So we model the whole building itself and we situate the element in the space. So the top left here is the actual stair with materials applied. So SketchUp has a whole warehouse full of materials that you can apply to the actual model. So if it's the mild steel and the walnut, and then also right down to the fact of materials of surface finishes of walls. So if you've got a lime plastered wall, you can get the texture of a lime plaster and you can apply colours to it as well. The best thing about SketchUp Pro also is that you can geolocate your building. So for example, we're doing an architectural competition in Tokyo at the moment. We have our specific coordinates of that building in Tokyo. We can locate it and we can then see at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday in April what the light is going to be like in that space. So it's phenomenal for getting exact, accurate depictions of internal views or internal spaces. So this one on the right is an export of just the light and shadow at that particular time of day. And then the one down here at the bottom is just the line weights of what it would be in a sketch format. So what we like about SketchUp is the modeling and the form and light. What we don't like about SketchUp is that it's pretty crude. So the outputs for us as artistic people, it doesn't have a painterly approach to it. So this is where Photoshop comes in. So we get the layers of the shadows, the light, the materials and the line, and we play with that in Photoshop. So we want to get a more painterly feel. We want to add art. So if it's specific paintings that the client has or particular ideas that the company has, we want to introduce those. We want to introduce people to give it a sense of scale and a sense of atmosphere. So Photoshop is phenomenal for that, for getting the subtleties that you can't really get on SketchUp. So then just to give you a like-for-like comparison, we installed this staircase just last week on site. Now, the timber threads and the timber handrail hasn't been installed yet, but the mild steel is in, and there's absolutely no shock from the client. They know exactly what they got was what we designed 2 years ago when they walked into the office. So SketchUp and Photoshop, brilliant tools.
Thanks, Emily Ann. Margaret?
Hi everyone, my name is Maggie Aherne. I'm a product manager for HubSpot. I work between Dublin and Boston and work from home in Kilkenny. Before I joined HubSpot, I was working for Expedia, the travel company, where I was working 100% remote for the last couple of years. When I was with Expedia, I was managing teams in India, the Middle East, and North America. There was no teams in my own time zone, so it was really important for me to be able to manage projects effectively and also communicate between all of these locations. And obviously, I needed really great tools to actually be able to help me with that. The first product I'm going to talk about is Trello. Has anyone used Trello before? Trello is, and yeah, thanks Justin for letting me talk about Trello. So what Trello does, it's so easy to use, it's free, and it basically allows you to create lists, manage projects, and just kind of have everything contained in the one location. I've used Trello to manage multi-million-dollar projects in work, and I've also used it to manage events in Kilkenny for like non-profit organisations I'm involved with. So like it's really, really flexible that you can use it for anything. It's also super simple to use. You don't have to have a degree in computer science to use it. This is just, I just created a board here, just an example of, say if you wanted to create a new website, you would have all your lists, your planning, your design, your engineering, your launch, and then you can add different things in there. You can also just like move around all those little boxes so that you can reorder the priority of things. You can add labels, you can assign them to people, you can add timelines. So the way I see it is if you have an Excel spreadsheet that's totally wrecking your head, then switch over to Trello, and it's much easier to organize that information. So this is the kind of the main board, and this is just an example of one of those little boxes. So you can go in and you can add information to it. You can add your description, you can add checklists, you can add labels, you can assign them to people, or you can just add people who you want to be able to see that information. More as an FYI. You can also have, you can set up the permissions on the different boards, so you can restrict who can actually come in and out of the boards, and you can move things between different boards. So for example, we used to have, when I worked at Expedia, we would have our roadmap, and then we would have another board that's what we're working on at the moment, and then another board which is what we were working on last month. And you can kind of move things between all those different boards, but you're removing the distractions from the board that you're working on at the moment. So it's really cool. So that's Trello. The next one then is, I guess I have to talk about HubSpot, seeing as I'm working there. Has anyone used HubSpot? Oh, okay, a few. That's great. I didn't really know HubSpot before I started looking into joining the company. I worked for Expedia for a long time, and I loved it at Expedia, so it was hard for me to move, but just looking into what HubSpot have built, I just really believed in the product and was really excited to move into the company. Basically what HubSpot offer is they've a suite of products for small to medium-sized companies. Their CRM is completely free. It's, no matter how much you use it, it's totally free. And then on top of that, they have marketing, sales, and service hub. So they have different tools available. The basic subscription to all of these, the marketing, sales, and service, is free. And then as your company grows, there's other offerings that you can pay for. So HubSpot are so focused on startups, they're so focused on small companies, so they're doing everything they can to help you be successful, including having, great pricing. And what else was I going to say about them? I think that's pretty much it. They're really transparent in their pricing, and I think they really work with companies so that they're transparent in their pricing and help people with all those things. And they've loads of training and learning, and if there was an area of your business, if you were a startup and you wanted to just look into it a bit further, they have loads of learning that's free on their website. So it's definitely worth checking out if you want to find a tool for your company that has some of these services.